Once upon a time in the borough of Bay Ridge, way before he ever heard the sounds of a djembe or a dish, there lived a young boy, why don't we call him Lexi, who would one day grow up to be big, strong, and pretty sexy. Schlepping back and forth from BK to Manhattan because his parents had split way before he had gotten to his first birthday, or sometimes he called it his first hurt day. The world around him confused, intrigued, and enthralled him, and even at such a young age, the way people treated each other appalled him. Not that he quite knew the meanings of such definitions, but still he was able to see his position. And though these may not have been his exact words, he thought more or less, I have to change the world. But it was not yet his time, because for him it would have to happen further down the line. So for now, he'd have to be okay with using his early days to get himself trained and prepared and more exposed to the world that he shared with people from all walks of life, and also try to understand concepts such as husband and wife. Because for a good while, he found it weird that more kids around him had parents that lived together and shed less tears. But despite what seemed irregular, he continued to seize life, grabbing it by the jugular. When he wasn't off on adventures in his room or the local park, pretending to be a superhero, dinosaur, or street shark, he was studying his environments like a scientist, noting the differences between lion and lioness. His mother worked with numbers, and he liked to imagine that she saw digits even in deep slumber. His father worked with zippers, not a maker, but a packer and a shipper. Mom would share her nights with him and sometimes close friends, and Dad would do about the same, but sometimes it depends. Cause Daddy was a DJ and he spun the vinyl hard, while little Lexi wooed all the women with his childlike charm and smooth as ice slipped them his card. One could say that he was quite the business asset, but what it really was is that he simply could not pass it. The opportunity to make a connection with another human, I tell you man, Lexi took it wherever he could take it, cause as far as inhibitions go, he was naked. He was always told that he had the biggest of hearts and lit up like Times Square when submerged in art. For a while he even played the violin, but now has trouble remembering whatever he might have learned. But his musical bridge was far from being burned. Burned. Like that apartment next door. The flames roared out the window as Lexi watched in horror, truly scared for what might have been the first time, cause it's not like he remembers that other awful crime. When he, as a baby, and his mother were on a bus, and two armed gunmen got on to kick up a fuss. And though they were tough, funny enough, everyone just dipped out the back. And then so did the robbers when there was no one left to attack. But a good moment of contrast in the past is the birth of his little sister, though it was of another mister. Lexi held her in awe like she was a miracle, and even her scarce newborn utterances were lyrical. And so was born another soldier in the fight for peace, because all are eligible at any age, be you man or beast. And so did Lexi grow through the years, learning life's lessons and meeting new peers. And though he ran with his niggas, never once did his finger get introduced to a trigger. He always stood his ground, never backing down. But the one fight he couldn't win was when his family told him that they'd be moving to some place called Florida. And he's like, no, don't make me go, it's gonna be horrible. But alas, he had no choice, despite all the noise that he made, hoping it would derail the plans that were laid. And so he looked back over his beloved city, knowing he'll miss simple things like graffiti, the style that it had, and the people that it would host. And with the words, now boarding non-stop flight to Miami, Florida, he was a ghost. And though he would return, he knew it wouldn't be the same, cause he was put in a new scene with new players in a new game. So he decided to accept it as he stepped out of the plane, and he shouted, "What's good, Miami? I'm the freaking Puerto Rican that's good looking from Brooklyn."